Hello, I'm glad you're here. I'm Hilska Dan, and, well, you know what we're playing by now. Into a Dream. In this video, I will be discussing atypical depression, which is essentially a specifier, kind of like a subtype of either major depressive disorder, MDD, or persistent depressive disorder, PDD.
God, we thank you for the life that you give us. It is full of work and of responsibility, of sorrow and joy. Today, we thank you for Isabel Foster Williams, for what she has given and received. Help us in our mourning, and teach us to live for the living in the time that is still left to us. Give her, O Lord, your peace, and let your eternal light shine upon her.
Amen.
Let us go in the peace of the Lord.
Now, atypical depression essentially means you are experiencing a depressed mood, but it can be brightened when positive things happen in your life.
Reverend.
Good evening. I'm so sorry for your loss.
Thank you. I didn't know Mrs. Williams personally, however. I'm a friend of her son, Luke.
Ah, I see. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to be present in such a day. It is very important for the family of the deceased, especially when the family is so close like the Williams, and when death knocks sooner than we believe it should.
Did you know Isabel?
Yes, quite well. She used to go to the church in my parish every Sunday.
Luke never told me she was ill. Was it unexpected?
Yes, everything happened pretty quickly. All very unfortunate. One day I caught Luke alone in the church, praying. And like his mother used to do, he seldom goes there. I talked to him and he told me that she was actually very lucky.
How come?
She was born with the illness that eventually took her over, but was kept dormant for many decades. The doctors said it could have manifested itself at any age. But what struck me the most was that he, at that moment, was not praying for his mother to be well. He was asking God for forgiveness, for he had spent the last 7 days praying for his mother's life, when she was provided with a miracle and lived healthy for more than 60 years, when so many others barely stand a chance to live.
Reverend.
God understands that. God understands that selfishness is a consequence of human relationships. It is one of the toughest emotions, being divided between the love that blinds reason and the guilt that darkens the heart. But he'll find peace again. And as for her, she's surely close to God now.
May she rest in peace. I can't imagine what it is to feel the way he's feeling.
It is up to us that remain and love them to help them grieve and move on.
I'll do my best, Reverend. Do you know where I can find him? He was here a few minutes ago.
No, I do not. I saw him talking to a man whom I have never seen before. It worried me, I must confess, as he was very distressed. I hope no bad news piles up on such a weakened mind. I haven't seen him since.
Thank you so much, Reverend. I'll look for him.
Thank you. May God be with you.
Okay. The diagnosis for atypical depression is mood reactivity, so your mood becomes better when positive events happen. 2 or more of the following signs and symptoms, which last most of the time for at least 2 weeks, which include increased appetite or weight gain, hypersomnia, which is increased sleep, lead-in paralysis, which is a heavy or paralyzed type feeling in your arms or legs, kind of like when your legs fall asleep but more intense, and having a more intense reaction or increased sensitivity to rejection, which results in significant social or work difficulties. So you can see it's similar to both MDD and PDD, with the differences being the intensity and the timing that the person is experiencing any of these given signs and symptoms. So what can cause atypical depression? Well, it's pretty similar to MDD, but in terms of causes, it's thought to be the result of malfunctioning brain circuits that regulate mood, so it's essentially biological in nature, similar to PDD, how a lot of things could cause it, but the chemical imbalance is what primarily can trigger it. Essentially, with atypical depression, the communication link between one area of the brain to another is impaired. That is, it's no longer working, as intended at least. causing an imbalance of chemicals, hormones, resulting in depression. But I'm sure there are also many other causes, which I discussed in the first video in this series on MDD. Now that we know primarily what the causes are, what puts me at risk for atypical depression? Well, in terms of risk factors, these include, but are not limited to, a history of bipolar disorder, family and/or personal history of depression, substance use, traumatic childhood experiences like different types of abuse, interpersonal conflicts, stressful life events, chronic or serious illnesses, etc.
What the? Lightning isn't attracted to such small objects unless they're a couple of feet away. It's a myth. Don't you know that, Luke? Anyway, I better be careful. It sure is dark here. It sure...
And no surprise, I'm lost and a bit confused again.
It sure is...
Alright, you know what, I'm just gonna go back and see if I can do anything, because walking around here is not doing me any good. Now, just because atypical depression seems to improve when good things happen, does not mean it can't be as severe as MDD or PDD. It can still cause emotional, behavioral, and other health problems affecting each area in your life. Of course, with all types of depressive disorders, severity varies among people, but my point is that good things can't happen to you 24/7, right? That's just unrealistic. It's like that song, "Things Get Better When It Rains because flowers don't grow with just good and sunny days," if you've ever heard that song. Atypical depression can actually cause these weight gains, personal and work problems, substance use to try and cope when other methods fail, other mental health problems such as anxiety. Most often with depression you have anxiety or other disorders, and if it gets really bad you can experience suicidality, which is essentially suicidal thoughts or even attempts, so it can be quite serious.
Oh my god, what the hell? What happened here? Luke. Where's Luke? Oh! My god! What a blast! I could have died!
Alright, moving on. It looks like I'll have time to pretty much cover everything, so let's move on to ways to prevent atypical depression. I know in the past I couldn't cover a topic in one video, but it's fine. I don't learn. So normally, since we don't usually know for sure what causes depressive disorders like MDD, PDD, atypical depression, there's no specific way to prevent them. However, there are some things you can do which may help. For instance, you can increase your resistance to stress and increase your control over it. So this could look like recognizing when you're stressed, responding by taking a break or taking a day off work. Maybe you take a nice bubble bath, deep breathing techniques, whatever it is to prevent the stress from building up. You can also reach out for support, as I've said before. That could be a family member, a friend, when you need someone to vent to or just need some words of affirmation.
Luke? What have you done, Luke?
Leave me alone, please.
My friend, we have seen the shed. There is something seriously wrong here. I get it if you're not ready to talk, but you gotta reach out when you are, please.
I found a shed a couple of minutes away. Is it yours? Luke?
Yes. Can you please leave me alone? I'm not feeling very well.
What happened there?
She did the same thing, John.
What are you talking about?
There was a mistake. I didn't mean to.
Luke?
I did all I could, John. I really did.
Where are Rita and Anne, Luke? Luke, where the hell are your wife and daughter? I'm going inside.
Alright, another key thing in prevention is to take care of yourself. I know in healthcare people love to say proper diet, exercise, sleep, hydration, as if it's the miracle cure to everything.
I feel I'm being watched.
But if you think about it, it kind of is. Doing all those things will help you stay healthy, both physically and mentally, so you can appreciate why they're always enforced. I just want to break down that scene real quick. So, John did a pretty bad job right there at talking to Luke. At first he was concerned, asking indirect questions, they were open-ended, but as he kept asking and didn't get the responses he wanted, he got frustrated and started yelling, which really doesn't help at all when speaking to someone with depression.
Oh, great. It works. Well, let there be light in here. Is someone out there? But it's pouring outside. Is it? It is. Rita! How did she...
I can't take it anymore, Mum. It doesn't talk to me. I don't know, Mum. I think it's not going well, but... How is that possible, Mum? He shuts himself off. He works until late every day. He doesn't care for me, and worst of it all, he doesn't care for Annie. I think he might be cheating on me, Mum. I really do. He's different. Annie asked me the other day why he wasn't talking to her, if she had done something wrong. She was crying. I could barely take it. I told him I was going to move. I told him things couldn't stay like this, that I would file for divorce and take Annie with me. He barely flinched. He said he had no other option. I told him that. He's losing it anyway. He's losing more of it like this. I'm sleeping too little. I've lost my appetite. I'm sorry, Mum. I tried to understand him. It must have been real hard on him after he found out that... You're right. Yes, Mum. Sure. I already have them partially packed. Can you believe it? You don't need to pick us up. Okay, thank you, Mum. I'm sorry, I really am. I'll be ready with Annie in less than half an hour. Rufus? Well, I guess you'll have to stay here for now. You're right. She also got incredibly attached to that doll of hers since, you know, I think she'll understand. Great. Thank you, Mom. See you in a second. Love you too.
This is another thing that's really bad to do, abandoning someone when they trust you, taking their kid from them. I know if they get aggressive and abusive, leaving is definitely the best thing to do to protect you and your child if alternative methods don't work. But if it's just a lack of communication, leaving someone with depression, especially if they're going through a really tough time, can negatively impact them and possibly push them over the edge into that suicidal ideation.
Is this your doll?
Yes, her name is Joanne. She belonged to my grandmother Isabel. Her mother sewed it for her when she was little. She then gave it to my daddy soon after he was born. He told me that he played with the doll until he was 4 or 5. But you know, he got into school and Grandma didn't let him take her with him. He did not make many friends at first, and Grandma had left Joanne in the box. So he decided to make a friend, an imaginary one, and played with him until he was around 12 or 13 years old.
Oh, I had no idea.
I didn't have a lot of friends either, you know. I was so sad after my first week of school that Daddy told me this story himself. He had remembered Joanne and went looking for her. He had found her in a box lost in the attic, cleaned her up and handed her over to me. She's so pretty, isn't she?
She's lovely.
Thank you. I really love her.
Oh, It's Rufus Kennel. He's not inside. I wonder if he's still alive in the stream. Anne, you're all right.
Oh, hello, John. I'm okay, thank you. If you're looking for my dad, I don't think he's home. My mum is upstairs packing our bags. You can wait here for her if you want to.
She's packing your bags. Are you going on holiday?
I don't know. I think we're going to live with my grandma and grandpa. My mum and I, that is.
You're going to move? The two of you? What about your dad?
I don't know. He's not very well.
What happened?
He's never around. He is always so distant, like we're not even there. Like we don't exist. I think he got so sad when Grandma died, and still is. He barely speaks to Mummy and I. I caught him crying several days, but I think he comes home late and sleeps on the couch.
I had no idea. What does your mother say?
She just said to me, "Pack your bags, honey, okay? We are going to see Grandma and Grandpa." And I asked her why, and she just repeated it again. She sounded sad, and I think she had been crying. So I packed my bags and came down here one last time.
Anne, I
like my grandparents. They're so sweet. They always try to please me, like cooking my favorite dishes and so on.
Anne,
Everything will be fine, won't it? It always does. Dad will get better. I know he will. And we'll be back here. And we'll build lots of different things. I miss building things with him, John. Playing with him and everything.
I'm sure you do, Anne. He'll recover. I'm going to help him.
I know you will. Thank you, John. See you soon.
See you, Anne.
For the treatment of atypical depression, it's the same as all the others, so medications and different types of therapy. Although, for this specific disorder, monoamine oxidase inhibitors, MAOIs, which is a specific antidepressant, are the most effective antidepressant drug for this disorder. There is a link in the description that talks about this drug class if you are interested. A good way to treat any depressive disorder is to recognize the signs and symptoms early and be proactive. So if you think you're depressed or just want to talk to a therapist in general, it's a great idea to get informed and get help before anything has a chance to escalate.
Talk to me. Rita says you no longer talk to her. She's at breaking point. You can't lose your family, Luke. They love you.
Rita and Anne left a few years ago. They packed their bags one night and moved away. I've barely seen them since.
Why, Luke?
I couldn't face them. I couldn't talk to them. I couldn't look them in the eyes without going to pieces. I couldn't give up. I just couldn't.
What happened, Luke? Give up on what?
My project. On me. It had to work.
The clean energy one. You jeopardized your family for some environmental dream. Why, Luke? Why? Why were you so invested in this project? It's taken away everything, everyone from you.
Why was I so invested?
Luke? Don't! Oh, here we go again.
Now I understand John's concern here, but don't interrogate people. Asking why 100 times when they're not up to talk is not going to help. If anything, they'll feel like they can't trust you and close off entirely. It's not an interrogation, it's supposed to be a conversation, an open, trusting conversation where either party can say what they want without being judged or being scared of you doing anything. Anyway, I'm going to end this video here. If you enjoyed the video and thought it was informative, feel free to like. If you did not like the content, feel free to dislike and leave a constructive comment. If you want to stick around for future videos, please feel free to subscribe. There's power in each choice that you make. Stay safe, stay hopeful, you're worth it, and thank you for watching. Take care.